Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I Bankrupt be joined again by Jimmy and Austin.
Sure.
Hello.
In today's video, we're kind of going over the newest release of Dragon Ball Super cards, especially just more blue stuff, and some very interesting tech options for potentially all three blue decks we're getting. This includes also the promo first card ever done reboot. I can't remember the correct words, but they're
the SS Blue Goku reboot. No.
So, but we're gonna start with the SS Sungoku versus Pikkon Dead Heat. This is another of those cards where it kind of works for both the decks, which I think is pretty cool, and I like this approach for the sets coming out. If this is how they're all gonna be like, because this is how the Fated Rivals were for both the King Piccolo and the Turtle Skull card is. But yeah. This particular card is a 4-drop, so it won't kind of work in the Pikkon cycle of 5 to 8, but it's Deflect Dual Attack. When this card attacks, choose up to one mono blue battle card with 5,000 combo power in your drop area. Use it in a combo if its skills negate it for the turn. And choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it in the bottom of the owner's deck, which is really good. It works both for the Z energy. Excuse you, Wally. My dog just sneezed in the background. At the end of your turn, you draw one card, switch up to one of your mono blue energies active mode, which I think is really great. And then the activate main will limit one for 2 blue energy. If you have 3 or more energy and discard 2 mono blue extra cards from your hand, you play this card from your hand and it gains barrier for the turn, which I think is also fantastic. So it comes into play, it's sticking.
I really like this approach to barrier in the game. Barrier has always been like a frustrating skill for a lot of players in previous sets, but giving the card barrier for the turn that it comes in will give you a little bit like leeway to say, hey, like this card is going to do what it needs to do, and then you have a chance to remove it on your next turn, which I think is really, really nice. Plus having Deflect, like you're just going to have to deal with this card when it comes in.
Yeah, I like that a lot too, because just cards having just barrier all the time is frustrating, even as a more veteran player. But this is a fun approach that allows them to have a little more leeway since they're having to do more autos with cards being able to be comboed from the drop. If you had all the extra stuff as well, it'd be a little much. So
I want to point out, we kind of talked about this, and we've already seen it with Fated Rivals. Since we're going to a whole new engine with Z Awakens, Z Battle Cards, Z Energy, they're not pushing away on unisons, but definitely finding ways to kind of get past what we're familiar with. In this case, this barrier gets past the Yamcha free play, gets past Charismatic Villain free play. It can't be hit with God Stealing either. It won't be put in rest mode. Like, it gets past all the free play cards that rely on your opponent having unisons in play, or that relies you to have unisons in play, which I think is fantastic way to kind of going, we want you to still play these, but we want you to be able to play your cards without having any issues as well in this new set. Having an SR that works with 2 different archetypes, I think is a great idea. And it's a good way also probably for them to make their sets incorporating now Unisons, Z Battle Cards, Z Awakens. That way you can, you know what, cut back on, don't make 3 super rares for one color and like do a 2-1 split potentially, or just a 1-1 and then whatever. But now it's kind of like, this is for blue. This will work for said blue cards. Now, I'm curious what the Pikkon extra cards are going to be, because I don't think we have seen much of those yet. I don't recall from yesterday's reveals.
Yeah, I didn't see them either, but I will agree with you. I think the fact that they're doing like both said SRs are nice, instead of being like, oh, hey, you get this one gets 2 SRs, this one gets 1, this one gets 3. Like, it's just, hey, either they share 1 or 2. And I like that a lot, because it's still, the deck still has identity, but it also allows the SRs to be even a little more generic.
Going to more cards, relying more towards Pikkon. We got the 1-drop Cell Hellish Hellraiser. Auto when this card is
fucking terrible name.
It is awful.
It is.
I was laughing at that so much before.
Holy shit, the freeze is the same name. Yeah, I did not read the name of these cards. This is horrible.
So
I'm not playing this archetype.
Well, that's fine. I probably will eventually. All right.
Yeah, of course.
Auto, when this card is played, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 Frieza or Another World Budokai card, both blue, and with an energy cost of 5 or less among them to add to your hand from your deck afterwards. What I think what's great about that auto is that you can actually tech that in any red-blue deck that plays the 5-drop Frieza, because it's energy cost 5 or less, which means you could grab, was it going 100%? So
Frieza 100% overdrive.
So if you're running that tech, it's just a good way of bringing it to your hand if you haven't seen it yet. The activate main's more definitely towards the PyCon, which is for 1 blue energy. If your leader card is blue PyCon card, and you place 1 of your blue energy in its owner's drop, add this card from your drop to your energy in rest mode, then switch up to 1 of your energies to active mode. This goes really well with the 5-drop that we talked about yesterday, where it's a pay 2, you pitch a Cell and a Frieza from your energy to play the card, and then you take the top 2 cards of your deck and add to your energy. So it just helps you cycle those back in case you needed to combo this card off or something gets to put in your drop area. You can just bring it back for 1 energy into your energy for a future play. And what I like is that you can potentially tap the card that you want to put in your drop, play this card rest, and then you can just restand it and then immediately be able to play the 5-drop afterwards if you need to.
I think this is a much more interesting way of dealing with energy fixing than what we've seen in the past of like pick up 3 cards from your energy, lay 3 cards, use Zeno Super Combo to pick up a card and put it back down. I feel like giving the card the access to energy fix from the drop area is really, really nice because you could throw this in your Z energy earlier and pop it, and now you have a Cell in your drop area to energy fix. Even though you didn't get the auto off of them, you're still getting some value of having this card in your drop area. I think this is a very it's like an elegant way of energy fixing that really interests me outside of the shitty name that will make me not play this archetype.
And as we've already talked about, Frieza's Hellish Hellraiser as well. God. Practically the exact same card, about 98%. Instead of searching for a Frieza, you're looking for a Cell. There isn't, in my opinion, a lot of good blue 5-drop Cells. Because the one that was shown yesterday was a Z battle card, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And there's only one Cell battle card, I think, which is the Android 21 1U as a critical.
Mm-hmm. Which you wouldn't play in this deck.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much meant to search for the other Hellish Hellraiser. But what's different about this card also is the activate main doesn't cost you an energy at all. But if your leader card is blue PyCon, and you add 1 of your blue energies in active mode to the owner's hand, you discard 1 card from your hand, then you add this card from your drop to your energy. So it's worded way differently. It's free to do, but you need a card in active mode to bring it to your hand. And then that way you're able to pitch whatever card you want to your drop, and then you play this from your drop. So it's kind of like that Zeno Super Combo we've already mentioned once before in this video.
One thing I am a little worried about is with cards with all this extra text like this. Now I think this set is going to be very daunting for new players to get into, because with that Cell having to, you have to manage your energy and all this, you have to make sure you're having all this stuff. Like, I know some people don't think about new players getting in the game and stuff, but we've had in the shop quite a few new players show up in the past few weeks. And imagine you're playing Dragon Ball and you've played other card games, but now you're getting into this and you're like, what the fuck?
Well, that's why starter decks exist.
Yeah, like I have to do this and this and this and this and this. It's like, I know I'd be personally a little overwhelmed if I started into this and I wasn't starting at you play card, KO card, draw 1.
Yeah. I will say,
well, if we go back to when the previous PyCon archetype comes out, if you watched the Blue Baby versus Blue PyCon video, where at one point I just said, "Hey Fluff, if I show you my hand, will you tell me which card is going to disrupt your shit the most? Because I'm not listening to a word you're saying." Like, they just really like giving PyCon all of the weird ass archetypes.
Well, it's not just that. I feel like a lot of cards from this set have a lot of text on them, which is pretty interesting, and they're worded very uniquely in this case. Like on both the Cell Frieza, you search for this, then it has that big line, no hyphen, both blue. So like whatever card you pull has to be blue card with this energy cost, and then next check, and I like that. I talked about before in other videos. I kind of like that breakup. I think it's easier to understand, but it might just be the way I think. Going to the next card, I'll make this next one a little bit easier. Grandness of all. This is a super combo. If you look at card
what the
blue,
fuck was that?
Super Combo is a card that you only have 4 in your deck.
Really?
Typically, they're 10Ks, and they have an auto. In this case, when your life is 4 or less, you use this card in a combo, you draw 1 card. Fantastic. We talked about Super Combos in a previous video. They're just generic. Like, if you're getting into the game, here you go. But if you're also getting the game, get the starter decks. They have the better Super Combos. I don't think this is searchable right now. No, it's not a 1 cost. So yeah, I don't think this card is searchable with what we've seen so far. So it's just your basic Super Combo. Nothing special about it. Get the starter decks. That way you have the really good Super Combos where you bottom deck 1 and draw 2. But
so glad those all are in there.
Now keep in mind, you do have to bottom deck a card in order to draw 2. But this is just combo, draw 1 card. We've all been over this. Going into...
No, I need you to explain it again.
Going to our next card, Beerus the Visitor. This is a very interesting card. It already has a lot of conversation happening on the Facebook Dragon Ball community page. But permanent, you can't switch this card in your energy to active mode. So once it's there, it stays that way. Kind of reminds me of some of the magic permanent cards that affects field cards. And it's like, I'll just keep this card tapped for the rest of the game, whatever. When this card is placed in your energy, you can't place cards in your energy for the turn. Activate main for 1 blue energy. If the name of your leader's backside includes Super Saiyan Blue Sungoku, draw 1 card, then place this card from your hand to your energy in rest mode. The conversations are occurring with 1 to 2 examples. A, Zeno Super Combos. You activate main, you play this, you pass turn, your opponent swings at you, you combo, bring it back to your hand, charge another card. You initially gain a ramp out of that, and then in your next turn, you just pay 1, replay it, and Super Combo again. Or, using the Zeno Unison, you do the +2 to go get the ramp out of the way, and then you can just pay 1 to draw 1 card, because how Jimmy had explained to me is that because it's being played from the hand, so you draw 1, play from your hand, fails to play, stays in your hand.
Yes.
And that's not
I'm still dumbfounded by this whole Super Combo thing. We might have to go back to that card here in a moment. I just really don't understand this whole Super Combo concept that we went over here. I don't even know why it was included in the video. It's really going to confuse the new players, I think.
The grandness of all.
Yeah.
I bet so.
Yeah. Something interesting that I found about this card is that the specification of your leader. So instead of if your leader card is a Super Saiyan Blue Sungoku, it says if your leader's backside includes. So to me, this reads, and of course there could be some ruling changes, but as of right now, this reads that basically it will check even if you're unawakened within the list.
That's the way I'm seeing it, because it emphasizes backside.
Yeah, so because in the previous ways leaders have been treated is that they are not their awakened side until they're flipped over. Where this kind of checks the other side before you awaken, which is kind of interesting. I don't know what this could imply in future card design, but it's just something to note because, to my knowledge, there's no other card that functions like this. Very minor, but it's something to talk about anyway.
I didn't think about that, to be honest. I read this. I just was thinking of the whole, that's going to be awkward to be like, to use this card, in my opinion, you can't restand, having to make sure you've a way to just get rid of it and stuff. If we can't get rid of it, I don't know what the purpose, like, I guess they're trying to make ramp harder, or at least somewhat like trying to do it, but it just feels weird with this, in my opinion.
The way I'm reading this card, of course, it's for an archetype because it specifies the Super Saiyan Blue Sungoku. Of course, we do have other leaders that this could be run in, but there are a lot of cards in the game that say if you have this much energy. The card that comes to my mind is Kale Rampaging Demon, where she says if you have 7 or more energy, blow up the field, ignoring barrier, gain barrier, dual attack. But that card is a 5-drop card. So this could kind of get you to that 7 energy faster. Even if it doesn't untap, it still gives you that number in your energy row to satisfy card effects. So this might be abusable in something like that, but I think there will probably be more coming that will interact with this card. Of course, the Super Saiyan Blue leader, the reboot, says on the backside, if you have 7 or more energy, you gain like 5k and double strike, I believe, which is what this is specifically made for. But we figure you already know that. We're more so talking about how this card can be abused because it's very unique in the way that it functions.
I also think that I can't wait for people trying to use it on a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan leader with a Goku. Because like, wait, Super Saiyan Blue? It's like
it specifies the name, so the name of your leader has to incorporate these 5 words in this order. And our next card is Whis the Visitor. Auto, if your leader card's backside includes Super Saiyan Sungoku, Super Saiyan Blue Sungoku, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then add to 1 Whis the Visitor from your deck to your hand. Sorry, to your energy and rest mode. Then shuffle your deck. So it kind of helps with the idea of just getting energy there. You won't get to draw on the Whis, but you definitely get on the Whis on play. And the secondary effect on this card is the activate main for 5 energy. If your leader card is Blue Sungoku, when you have 8 or more mono blue energy, play up to 1 Whis Judge of the Gods from your deck on top of this card, and shuffle your deck afterwards. Jimmy, you already gave him a long time ago. That's the big like Whis boy, right? From like earlier sets.
Yeah, big boy, 12 drop, 40,000, quad strike. Attack and skill cannot be negated. If anybody tell me what other card has that exact same permanent that's also kind of busted. And then the auto, you do get to take an extra turn, but your leader card has to be a Beerus, which is a little unfortunate. Still a 40k quad strike that is unnegatable is still kind of busted for 5 energy.
Kind of like
but
a second
maybe
secret rare for this deck. Like,
that's good. That's what I was going to say, yeah.
But in the future, we have seen Beerus and Goku fight a lot and also team up, so maybe we'll get a Son Goku and Beerus leader that will satisfy the auto, because that's kind of a unique auto. The last time we got a extra turn spell was on a leader that got absolutely eroded into the ground.
It got so quick, yes.
So getting getting a interesting extra turn spell could be really fun, especially because it is 5 energy. You do have to be at 8 or more mono blue energy, which for ramp, it's easy to be mono blue. Getting to 8 energy with stuff like the Beerus the Visitor and stuff like that will not be too difficult. I do see this as like kind of a late game Hail Mary in some cases. I don't think many decks are going to be built around this, but I feel like throwing like 1 Whis Judge of the Gods, and if you're going to run Whis the Visitor at all, it might be solid just to throw 1 in there just in case it goes off.
Yeah, and if you're playing this engine, hang on to your hatch for this turn. That way, when you spend your energy and something happens and you can't go for game, you can just hatch and then try again next turn. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in today's video. Keep in mind there's buttons down below and on the screen. And you know what, Jimmy, I know you like this card a lot. Go ahead and read it as you close this out.
I just don't understand. Have we ever seen this keyword skill before?
Don't answer him, Austin. Let him figure it out on his own.
Have we seen this keyword skill before? I don't understand.
This is when you say, "That's all, folks."
I don't say that. That's not my job.